welcome back to Added Time, the podcast that brings you all the latest in women's football. I'm Abbie McCarthy, and alongside me is someone who steals the show on the pitch and on the pod. It's Super Fran Kirby. Hello.
Thank you. You're going to run out of these soon enough. My whole week is just waiting to hear what you're going to say, to be honest.
And I'm doing okay so far, you know.
You're smashing it. You're absolutely smashing it.
Thank you, mate. How has your week been?
It's been good. Yeah, it's been really good. We had a couple of days off, which was nice, just to kind of recuperate. And yeah, I did a bit of gardening yesterday, which was, enjoyed that. But yeah, it's been nice. Bit of training here and there. So yeah, been good.
Yeah,
your birthday yesterday?
Yes, my birthday yesterday, and I was about to say I'm getting into gardening, which I guess would be a sign of age. I'm trying to be an adult. I had a very adult birthday as well. We went to see an exhibition at the Tate and went for a nice meal. Yeah, all very civilised. So it's a new me.
I see gardening as a sense of calm, not age. You need the calm from what's going on everywhere else. That's what I say it is.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm probably saying age because the only other person I know who's really into gardening is my nan. You and my nan, but two goats in my eyes. So, you know. And how are you as well? Because obviously people will have seen, you know, you came off at half-time against City. Like, did you just feel something or?
Yeah, so I've been nursing a little bit of a back, I don't want to say issue because it's, you know, I've been training and playing, but it just seemed to, in the game, really kind of go a little bit more into spasm than it has done. And to be honest, I think the decision was more, it's the second game of the season, you know, let's protect a little bit, you know, try and make sure that we get yourself recovered. And yeah, I mean, it was a shame because, you know, I wanted to continue. I would have probably continued, but obviously I think that was the right decision in hindsight. And it was a shame that we couldn't match the first half to the second half because I felt like we were playing some really good things. I mean, obviously they had their chances as well, which, you know, they also could have taken, but I felt that we were comfortable in the game a little bit. So yeah, it was a shame to come off, but I mean, it showed that we're going in the right direction, even though we can't keep the consistency long enough. So I'm fine. I've been fully in training and I will be ready to go on Sunday.
Okay, great news. That's what we all want to hear. And obviously scored your first goal of the season as well. Hello.
Yeah, I was happy with that one, actually. I mean, everyone, I've had a couple of messages afterwards, like it's trademark Fran Kirby, that kind of goal back across the goalkeeper. And yeah, no, it was really nice to get on the score sheet again and score in another WSL season. I feel like it's many seasons now. I don't even know how many seasons now I've played in the WSL, but yeah, it's nice to kind of keep that going a little bit, scoring in each season. So yeah, really happy to get my name on the scoreboard and hopefully I can keep building and score many more goals.
Yeah, it was nice to see your manager's comments after the game, obviously delighted with the goal, but was also saying how, you know, the team missed your leadership on the pitch. Obviously, Brighton in general is actually a pretty young squad. Do you ever feel like a bit of pressure as maybe that leader, that person with experience within the group?
I think that's just part and parcel of it now. I think obviously as you get older and you're a little bit more experienced, and like you said, we have a really young, inexperienced team. And we're trying in a way to kind of build up these players. You know, it's probably me and Jelena Kankovic are probably the two senior players in the team now that are kind of the ones who are trying to, you know, get others to do that role as well. I think for me, I've never really seen myself as a leader in what I say. It's more just how I play and the energy that I bring when I play. But I think now I've had to learn the other side of it in terms of the communication side, because obviously I am, you know, this one of the senior members in the team. I think I'm the oldest actually. So, you know, you kind of have to take on that role. But yeah, we're definitely improving in that aspect. But obviously you've got to give this time. You know, these girls, they're coming through, they're trying to find their voice a little bit. So I feel at the moment that probably I'm the one that does that more than others. Others are starting to step up, which I think is really important because, you know, you can't just have one or two that's driving the team. You have to have, you know, a group of players who can demand from each other, that, you know, communicates on the pitch when things aren't going right. You know, obviously in the second half, we lost a little bit of structure. We lost a little bit of composure on the ball, and we didn't really have anyone who just kind of stood there and went, right, this is what's happening. This is where we're going wrong. This is where we need to change it. So I think we are growing that element. But I mean, it's the second game of the season. People are still finding their own feet. But hopefully, as the years go on, people get more confident to just say what they're thinking in their head and just get it out. And, you know, nothing is ever personal in football. It's always to help the team. And I think when you're younger coming through, you can be a little bit more. I mean, I don't think I really had that problem. I've always been quite demanding and quite competitive on the pitch. But I think, you know, it's what these girls are trying to learn as well. And you know, you don't want to hurt people's feelings. You don't want to, you know, annoy someone. But this is the game that we're in. You know, it's super competitive. In the moment, you're going to say something that people don't like, but we have to just move on, and we can have that conversation afterwards. So we're trying to build that. It's difficult. It's not something that's going to happen overnight, but yeah, I mean, I'm trying my best to kind of bring that, and I'm hoping at some point someone turns around and says to me, like, Fran, you didn't track your player. You know, kind of give me
You want
that
that back now, don't you? Almost, because you've set those standards. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll be like, do you know what? Yeah, absolutely, you're right. That's me. So, you know, hopefully we can get to a point where we can do that. But yeah, I mean, you could see in the second half we just lost complete structure and a little bit of composure. So we'll learn from it and hopefully take the first half into, you know, Sunday and see the positives and see where we're growing as a team.
I'm going to try and keep you on track on this podcast today because we're going to be talking more about the WSL a little bit later. But let's take a look at the Women's Champions League draw, which took place earlier today. So now it's a new system, isn't it? An 18-team league phase. So each team is going to play 6 games, 3 home, 3 away. The top 4 then go straight through to the quarterfinals. The teams that are ranked between 5 and 12 enter a playoff to potentially reach the quarters. And the bottom 6 are just eliminated, of course, after the league phase. So this is, you know, more fixtures, more high-stake games early on, and hopefully for us as viewers and as fans, more drama. That's what I'm thinking anyway.
Yeah, I find it really exciting, actually. I mean, this morning I was trying to wrap my head around it because I hadn't really seen much about it. So I was watching all the videos on the Champions League page and I was trying to work it all out because I was like, how can we have 4 groups when there's only 3 pots? I was trying to work it all out in my head, but I think it can be a really, really exciting moment for women's football. I mean, obviously you've got quite similar in the men's game, which, you know, people are still kind of getting used to a little bit, but I think it's going to be really exciting because the teams play different teams. So it's going to be different types of challenges each game. And I think as well, every game is must win because you want to come in that top 4. You don't have the luxury now of being like first and second in your group and you both kind of just go through and you're going to get a hard team anyway. Now you have to win. If you want to get in that top 4, it's like every game because, see, you know, I'm obviously speaking as an ex-Chelsea player, but Chelsea v Barcelona, the first game. You know, it's a super important game. It's not a case of, you know, oh, if we lose that, it's all right because we can still come second in the group and we'll go through. You know, you have to put in these performances. So I'm really excited about it. I think it can be a really good move and moment for women's football.
And you mentioned there Chelsea playing Barcelona again. I nearly just had a big old cry. Why does it keep happening again and again and again? When are we ever going to win this trophy? Really hard facing Barcelona. Former champions Wolfsburg as well. Roma in there, like a really tough draw there for Chelsea. But then, you know, they are the best in the WSL. They have been for a while. To be the best at other competitions, you have to beat the best, don't you? But that is tough, isn't it? I'll try and wipe my tears because that was not nice to see.
I mean, I'm trying to see it as, I mean, I don't know how it works after that, but I'm trying to see it as a way. I mean, obviously, you're looking at Barcelona and Chelsea, and you're probably saying they're going to make it to the quarterfinals and the semi-finals and potentially the final. So I was kind of thinking maybe if they get them now, they're not going to get them in the knockout stages, but I don't think that's going to work. But I mean, look, it's one game. It's at home for Chelsea. Anything can happen in them 1 games. It's not a case of, you know, you play home and away. You've got to be a little bit cautious when you go there or whatever. So, you know, I think being 1 game, 1 fixture, is whoever turns up and plays well on that day. You know, of course, Barcelona are an exceptional side, have, you know, 2 of the best players in the world, even more than 2 of the best players in the world in their team, to be honest. But for me, if I'm a Chelsea player, I'm excited for that game a little bit because it is just 1 game. And the team that Chelsea have now, you're looking at it and you're going, it's world class all over. There's not a position that, not that there ever was before, but you're looking at it and you're going, we can really compete with them over one fixture. Of course, when you see home and away or whatever, it's difficult. So for me, it's a really exciting game for Chelsea, especially being at home, because I think that gives them definitely an advantage going into the game. But Barcelona are an exceptional team. So, you're looking at it from both sides, and yeah, it's going to be really, really, and it's also going to be interesting to see how kind of the league goes for Chelsea at that time. Obviously, Barcelona, they kind of run away with their league every year. So it'll be interesting to see Chelsea's momentum going into the game, because I think that also can have a really massive impact.
Yeah, I'm wondering this year if almost Chelsea are just going to go all out to finally, hopefully, win the Champions League, or are they still going to go big in the league? Because the mentality at Chelsea is always just try and win everything, isn't it? But it's almost like, I don't know, if you could ask the squad now, and I guess it depends whether they give us an honest answer, what would they prefer, winning the league again or winning the Champions League? And surely they'd go for that.
I mean, I think media training wise, they'd say that they're going for all the trophies. But I mean, it's difficult, isn't it? Because obviously Chelsea had an incredible year last year. They won all the trophies. And then Arsenal went and won the Champions League. And it kind of was like completely forgotten of what Chelsea had done through that year. So in that respect, you're looking at it, you're going, there's a couple of girls in that Chelsea team now who have won a lot of WSL titles. So are they sitting there going, come on, we've got to get this Champions League now. We just have to get that. Do we sacrifice the league? Do we? In my opinion, I don't think they will. I think they're going to go out to win every single game, because I know some of the players in that changing room, and they also won't want anyone else to win the league. So I think there's going to be an element of that as well. But I mean, they're definitely, the club as a whole, not just the players in the change room, their club as a whole is sitting there going, we have to get this done. We have to do this. We've spoken about it now for 7 years. We have to get this done, and maybe this new format will help them, maybe it won't, we don't know. But I mean, you're looking at the squad now and you're going, yeah, really, really good chance.
Yeah, and also Arsenal winning it last year, like that's going to be motivation for them to get it across the line as well. Hopefully, and Arsenal turned up in such a big way against Barcelona. So we will see how that one plays out. Man United, though, of course, making history by qualifying for the Champions League for the first time, which is just huge for them and their fans, of course. But like, where do you think they're going to go in the competition? Like, what would they see as a success? Is getting to the quarterfinals, is that enough, or do you think every team that enters into a competition like this is just like has to go in with the mentality that they're going all the way?
Yeah, I think it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because obviously it's their first time going into it, and experiencing that for the first time, you're probably looking at it going, we're going to learn a lot. We're going to learn how this process works. I was speaking on TV the other day, and we were talking about them obviously playing and having to travel and then playing again, traveling again. So for me, it's going to be a real big learning curve for them to see, okay, where's the squad at right now? Where's the depth at? Are we doing everything correct? How does our schedule look? Do we need to have a day off here? Do we have a day off there? They're going to learn so many things in this period. And I think that would definitely help them for the longevity of them playing in the Champions League. But I think, I mean, for me, success for them is to get to the quarterfinals. You're not looking at it going, okay, we definitely are going to come top four, because obviously I don't know what team is going to come top four in the league standings. So for me, it's going to be a real learning curve for them to see how it affects their league standings. In terms of playing on a Wednesday, traveling late on a Wednesday, even maybe playing on a Thursday, traveling late on a Thursday, then having to travel. Obviously they did it last week and had a really good performance against London City, then had another really good performance against Brun. So, they've got a taste for it now, but obviously as the level goes up and up and up, it's going to be about how quickly they can recover. So for me, I think it's a real learning curve and experience, and for the players as well who are there. They've only got a couple there who've done it previously. You're looking at Rolfo now, Mallard, who's done it previously. So, it's going to be a big learning curve for them, and I'm excited to see how far they can go, and I'm interested to see how they deal with that and the WSL.
Yeah, agreed. And they are playing some big teams, of course. Lyon, Wolfsburg, and then coming up against Mary Earps, obviously now playing for PSG. And I just wondered, like, as a player, is there like a bit of extra motivation when you're playing against your old club? Come on, be honest.
I think it's more, I wouldn't say there's an extra motivation, because for me, I approached playing Chelsea last year like I approached every other game. So I wouldn't say I was sitting there going, oh my God, I really want to score today, because I want to score in every game. So, it's not that. I think it's just more of a, you're playing in front of the fans again who loved you for such a long period of time. You want to play well because you want to play well for your new club. And I think it's just the overall feeling of love. That's what I felt when I played Chelsea away at Broadfield last time, and I was playing in the game, and I just felt love, and that was just such a nice feeling to have, because I felt like I had a really good performance that day, which is also nice for me and nice for Brighton. But it was also kind of I was able to show them what I had shown Chelsea fans for so many years, and I think that was a really nice moment. So for me, I mean, everyone is different. Everyone's situation is different, whether you left the club on good terms, whether you left the club in really nice terms. For me, I love the club, I love the fans, I love the girls. So, there's no kind of bitter feeling for me towards it. So, it wasn't a case of, I want to win because of this, I want to win because of this. It's, I just want to win. And having that feeling of appreciation and love, even though you're not playing for the team, it was a really nice moment for me. So yeah, everyone is different, and you'd have to ask Mary for her own story of it. But I mean, she'll be excited. She'll definitely be excited, because obviously she was there for a number of years. She really kind of boosted their profile, her own profile being there. So she'll be really excited for that, and for her to have that experience in the Champions League as well, I'm sure she's really, really excited for.
Yeah, and the fans, like you say, will just be buzzing to see her. Another fixture I think is going to be a juicy one is last year's winners Arsenal taking on 8-time winners Lyon. That's going to be some game.
Yeah, it will be. It's two heavyweights against each other. Obviously, they played each other last year in the semi-final, and Lyon looked really good in the first game, and then Arsenal just really turned the screws on in the second. So it was even in that respect. Both teams both had a good game against each other, and that's why I think it's really interesting now being one game, because it is just purely, you turn up, you have to perform. You don't have a next game to look at the tactics. You don't have a next game to see, okay, how do they take their throw-ins? What do they do on set pieces? You have to know. And if you don't know, and if you lose the game, you're looking at it going, oh, we're coming in 6th now, we're coming in 7th, you're not in that top 4. So for me, it's just going to be so interesting, and especially that game as well, because like I said, it also depends on the momentum that teams are going into the game. Where are Arsenal in terms of squad depth? Where are they in terms of performance? They will have the confidence, because obviously they beat Lyon in the second game, they won the Champions League. So yeah, I'm really interested to see that one. And Lyon obviously have recruited very well over the summer, so it's a different look team as well. So I'm excited to see how that one unfolds. I'm excited for all of them.
Yeah,
I think
it's
I'm
gonna
just
be
gonna have
box
the same
office.
answer for everything.
Yeah, it really is. Like honestly, all of the games, I'm like, this sounds amazing. Get out the popcorn and enjoy. Arsenal also playing Bayern and Real Madrid. Who do you think are the players in that Arsenal need to try and keep quiet if they can?
I mean, you're looking at Bayern, and first and foremost is Pernille Harder. I think she had an amazing year last year for Bayern. She found her shooting boots again. Obviously, the last few years, I would say, she's been, in and out a little bit with injuries, trying to find that consistency again. But, for me, she is still one of the top quality forwards in Europe and in the world. So they've definitely got to watch out for her. And obviously Bull as well, who is a really direct player and very fast in the transition, comfortable, likes to take a shot. So I would say them two are probably the two that you're looking at going, okay, like we need to keep an eye on them and keep them quiet, because for me, especially with Pernilla, I mean, if she gets the ball in around the box, her strike is just frightening. So definitely them two, I would say they've got to look out for.
Okay, so the fixtures are locked in. We're both excited, as you can tell. Every game we're like, that'll be amazing. But who do you think is going to go and win the competition? Who would you kind of pick out at this stage to go and do it?
It's a good question. I mean, it's really hard.
It is this year. I think also it shows as well, maybe, where because the leagues everywhere are getting more competitive and then them all coming together to kind of play in the Champions League, it's tougher, tiny margins.
I mean, my heart is trying to tell me that I hope that it's Chelsea's year and they finally get it done. But my head is still saying I think Barcelona losing it last year and a lot of noise around them in terms of losing players, losing that squad depth, and they still have, you're looking at their 11 and you're looking at them going, it's probably the 11 best players in the world. For me, it would be out of either them two, I would say right now. But I mean, it also depends. I think as things change, you get a big injury to a big player, your momentum in your league isn't as good, so you're kind of going into that fixture going, where are we at, what's going on? So it's hard, but I mean, for me, I can just never lose sight of Barcelona or Lyon either. I think them two having the experience, so I'm going to say either Barcelona, Lyon or Chelsea.
Okay, and how about your dark horse then to go far? Who do you think actually might surprise a few people?
I don't know if there is any dark horses in there, to be honest. I mean, I think Atletico Madrid have started their season quite well. I think they've been picking up points. Juventus could also maybe surprise a few people. I mean, I want to say Bayern, but for me, Bayern is not a dark horse. I think they've been in around it for such a long time. So, I mean, Atletico Madrid, I would say maybe. And Juventus, maybe, them two.
Yeah, fair. Okay, that's Fran's options. You guys get involved as ever and let us know who you are thinking and who you're backing.
It's where the fans from other clubs come after us and they're like, why did you say that?
Why didn't you say United? Why didn't you say these lot? How about you then, Fran? Like reflecting back on lots of brilliant Champions League moments. What are your favourite memories?
Oh, wow. I mean, I would say obviously getting to the Champions League final, that was an amazing feeling, beating Bayern at home.
And that goal to get us there.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Pretty cool moment. And just that feeling of, I mean, obviously we got to the final and it didn't go the way that we wanted, but I think we played probably the best Barcelona team, that they've had over however many years. I think that game, the difference was just astronomical, really. I think, we all left that pitch, of course, absolutely devastated, but there was a real sense of we just couldn't compete. And I think when you leave the pitch feeling like that, it's not that it makes it easier, but you kind of can accept it a little bit better. So I would say that moment, running through to an empty goal and just knowing that you're going to the final is cool. I mean, obviously, scoring my first Champions League goal against Glasgow. And then I will say scoring against Bayern Munich away. I can't remember what year it was. I think it was maybe 2017, 18. And scoring that goal and us going through on the away goal was pretty special. And, scoring quite a few goals in the Champions League, bearing in mind that we didn't have the group stages back then. We didn't have all the fixtures that we have now. We didn't have, the development of women's football. So for me to be able to sit here and say that I've scored, that many goals in the Champions League, it's really special because, we played some really, really tough teams in the first round and would sometimes get knocked out in the first round. So for me to be able to, have scored as many goals and contributed as much as I did, I'm really proud of that. But I would probably say them three moments are like the key moments for me.
Okay, switching attention then to the WSL. You're playing West Ham on Sunday. Are you going to have your shooting boots on then, do we think?
I hope so. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think both of us have had, mixed starts at the beginning of the season. Obviously, they had a really tough game against Arsenal. So I think both teams will be looking at this game as a way to go, right, we can pick up some points here. So it's going to be a game that's going to require a lot of attention mentally, because obviously there is, it's not a lot riding on the game, but it would be nice to kind of get that first win for both teams. And, they're dangerous. They're a dangerous side. The transition that they have, they're very, very structurally good defensively. It's hard to break them down. And, they've got the pace up front that, can harm teams. And they have some really good quality players. I really like Ueki. I think she's a really, really top quality forward. And obviously Martinez as well, who did really well for them last year. So, they have some really, really good players in there. So I think it's going to be a really tight game, actually. And I think it's going to be a very tense game.
Yeah, both teams looking for that first win of the season. So, yeah, it's going to be tense. That's for sure. And then we've got Chelsea taking on Leicester City. And I think there's going to be a lot of goals in that game.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're looking at it on paper and you're going, yeah, this could, go, a few goals here. But I think Leicester as well, they will have a lot of confidence of getting the 3 points. Obviously, winning against Liverpool, a lot of talk around them, getting them 3 points. I mean, obviously, look, they're going to go into the game probably with a very defensive mindset, try and limit the damage, try and go on the counter-attack. But you saw against Aston Villa, Chelsea struggled a little bit with that counter-attack. And I'm not comparing Leicester's, transition to Aston Villa's, because I think Aston Villa has, incredible amounts of pace that will really cause a lot of teams problems. But you could see, especially in the first half, Chelsea really struggled with that transition and really struggled, defensively, being able to just stop the transition happening quickly. So I think if Leicester get it right and they, take the confidence off the win, maybe they can do something there. But, I mean, you're looking at it and you're going, yeah, Chelsea should win comfortably.
Yeah, and Sam Kerr's goal stats could potentially get even more ridiculous. Obviously, Fran, you are up there as Chelsea's all-time goal scorer, 116 goals. Sam Kerr now on 100. I mean, she might be pushing you off that perch sometime soon.
I'm pretty sure she will be. I'm pretty sure she will be. And, I was so happy for her to just be in a place where she's healthy. She can get on the pitch. She can do what she's been doing for so many years. And you could just see the relief on her face when that goal went in and then afterwards in the celebrations. But I think for me, it's just so nice to see her in a place where she can get on the football pitch and just do what she loves to do. And I hope that she's able to keep herself fit and healthy. I hope that, she's able to build into these, into the season and keep herself on the pitch, keep herself recovered well, which I'm sure she will do. So, yeah, I have no doubts that Sam will be very shortly coming to take that goal scoring record off me. But you're looking at it and you're going, there's no one else better that you would want to take that. And she's been an incredible goal scorer for every team that she's played in. She's an incredible human being. And for her to overtake me, it will be a real honour for me. And I've played a small contribution to it with my assist to her over the last few years that we played together. So, I mean, I can't be too angry about it because I'm the one, most of the time that tried to get her the goals.
Yeah, exactly. Her stats are just, something else. And the fact that it was her 100th goal on her return, like, that's just going to feel so special, isn't it? And what is it like coming back? Obviously, you've maybe not had an injury as long-term as hers, but, going into that first game, you must be pretty nervous, right? You could tell there was like a little bit of lacking of, match sharpness, which there would be. But the fact that she, has scored, yes, it was scrappy, but whatever. No one remembers that in the end anyway.
Yeah, of course, she would have been really, really nervous, I think. And it's not easy. It's not easy being out for that long, never mind being out for, a shorter time period. So for me to see her just to be able to get on the pitch was so nice. And I think the fans, the club have to be patient with not expecting too much too soon from her in terms of, every player wants to come back and be exactly how they were before they left. They want to be as fit as they were before they left. They want to be as match sharp as they were before they left. And it's just not realistic. And she is someone that wants to give her all the time, and she will be doing that every time she plays. Patience, I think, is really important from the outside, because for me, if you manage to get Sam firing, but if you have to take longer to do so, you take longer to do so to get her firing when, you need the goals in the Champions League, you need the goals against the top, title challengers here and there. So for me, it's really important that people give her time and allow her to build into her performances again. And obviously, it's great that she scored the other day. I would love to sit here and say that it's going to happen in every game that she comes on and plays in, but it's not, not always going to be the case. So yeah, there needs to be a calmness around her, and I'm sure she will be looking for that calmness everywhere she goes when it comes to coming on that pitch. But yeah, I mean, really, really happy for her, and I really hope that she's rested against Brighton.
Yes. Let's wrap her in cotton wool all season, please. Let's make sure we keep her at her best, for sure. I mean, the biggest game of this weekend, potentially, United against Arsenal. What are your predictions for that game?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, obviously United now have a lot of confidence going through in the Champions League, having a good performance against London City. Arsenal also having a good performance and good win against West Ham. So both teams going into it confident. It's hard. It's so hard to know. I mean, I think for me, I think Arsenal still have a little bit too much quality. But I do like the way that Man United are playing at the moment, and the way that they're finding these intricate passes, their movement off the ball. The fullbacks look full of energy, wanting to drive forward. So, I mean, I think I'm going to go... I was about to say I'm going to go on the fence, but I really don't want to, because then it's just boring, isn't it?
Yeah, we're going to make you pick.
Yeah, I think Arsenal. Arsenal.
It's hard to not see maybe Arsenal having the edge, but I think Man United are definitely building something, like you say, growing in confidence. Rolfo making her debut as well against London City Lionesses last weekend. Amazing in the Euros. So many people would have, watched her play. Proper baller, goal scorer. I wonder if she's just going to be a crucial part of building United's attack to that next level.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, it doesn't always have to be what she's doing on the pitch, right? She's an experienced player. She'll be someone that's driving standards in training. The younger girls and more inexperienced girls watching her recovery, what she's doing in these moments, does she contribute in meetings, all of these things that everyone will be watching around her. And, obviously her knowledge and her experience playing at the top level for so many years. So, she's definitely going to be boosting them in that respect for sure, and obviously on the pitch as well. She's a very direct player. She drives the team forward. Wonderful left foot, the strikes that she can get. But, I think you can see a little bit of competition there now at Man United, I think, with Mallard and Turland. I think you can see there's a little bit there of, Mallard scoring on the weekend, Turland scoring her hat-trick in the Champions League. So I think you can see now, the thing with football is competition is really healthy, and it helps drive, you to want to be better than who else is going to be playing against you. Of course, as long as it's healthy competition and it's, I'm going to do my best, because then I know if you play, I've done everything I can to put myself in a position and you've just been better than me, or whatever it is. So you can kind of see that creeping in, which I think is really, really healthy for Man United. And I think, bringing in the likes of Jess Park also gives them a different dynamic in the midfield. So, it's exciting to see them pushing each other. And I really like that. And I think that's why you're now seeing, I mean, obviously we both know that, Turland has always been a goal scorer, Mallard has always been a goal scorer, but for them to hit the ground running so early, I think it could be really exciting for Man United, for them in the next kind of few months, and also with the Champions League.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting for sure. Also, Villa playing Liverpool this weekend. Obviously, Villa beat Liverpool 5-0 in pre-season, but I know you can't necessarily always take too much from those games. But Liverpool have had a right tough start to the season, haven't they? Even looked pretty shaky against Leicester City when they went down to 10 players. Why do you think it's just not clicking and they've not done better yet? Is it that change in system, or what do you think it is that's potentially going a bit wrong for them?
It's always really hard to tell when obviously you're not in the environment and you're not there. And obviously for me, Gareth Taylor didn't have a long time before the season started to kind of get in there and talk about the way he wants to play, work out who he wants to play. Obviously he would have seen these players as a Man City coach, but he would have seen them play in that style of play. So for him now, he has to work out, right, okay, what players can basically do what I'm asking them to do. And he also has to figure that out. But I mean, for me, they just didn't replace enough what they lost with Olivia Smith. Now, you can't replace Olivia Smith. You can't find a cardboard version of her and say this is what we need. But for me, you sell a player for £1 million and you're looking, then you go, we could sign 4 incredibly talented players with that money. And of course, it's not always going to be the case, but Liverpool is a big club. It's a big men's team. It's a big women's team. They have history of winning the WSL. The men's team just won the Premier League. They should have more of a pull. You're looking on the other side and you go, and Everton did really good business in the summer. Why could Liverpool not? It's the same area. The men's for Liverpool, all in the last recent history, have always outdone Everton. So why was the pull not there? Are they looking for the players? Are they, it's difficult to know what it is. But I mean, for me, it's going to take time for them to understand Gareth Taylor's structure and style of play. But they need to start doing it now. I think as soon as you get too far left behind, it's a really, really difficult climb. And I think we saw that with Crystal Palace last year. They started to then pick up some results and do well, but then the damage was done. So, they have to find that formula sooner rather than later.
Yeah, rapidly, for sure. And we've had a few questions coming for you. So we'll start with this one here from Lucy. Funniest moment with your team off the pitch? And I guess you can pick your current team, you can pick the Lionesses, you can pick ex-teammates. But when we say funniest moment, what pops up for you?
Oh my God. Funniest moment.
You're like, also, what can I share?
Yeah. What is
no
PG
filter on
enough
this podcast?
to share?
Remember that, Fran.
No filter. God, that's trying to think now. God, it's just going to be some silence in this podcast now. Right, I'm gonna go with. I mean, it's definitely probably something to do with me and Bethany England, because I think we've had so many memories and some really funny memories. Actually, I'm going to tell one with me and Beth. It's probably not the funniest one, but I think it's the cutest one, because so I got a puppy. I got Cody a few years ago, and I remember we were taking him on his walk. We went to somewhere called Paynes Hill Park, which is in Cobham. Really, really beautiful place. You can walk around, and we were just walking with him, and it was one of his probably first times where I was like, okay, like, you go and stand over there, I'll let him off the lead, and we'll kind of train him to, come to us, really cool, trying to get him to like learn a little bit. And when I tell you, I took the lead off, he started to run towards Beth, and then they set off the cannons, to scare the birds.
No.
and he was literally right next to Beth when it went off, and obviously we both just dropped we didn't know that these cannons were going off. We didn't know it was a thing. We didn't really know what it was. And when I tell you, we were probably about 10 yards away from where the cannons went off. And she just jumped and just grabbed Cody, because obviously he started to freak out and he was about to bolt somewhere, because obviously this big bang's gone off. And I think, like, obviously it could have been a lot worse. Like, he could have probably just ran away and, like, we couldn't, find him. But we just both, like, lay there on the floor. And, I mean, I didn't need to duck. I didn't need to jump or anything. But I just jumped on the floor because I thought someone's shooting at us, because I've left my dog off the lead for the first time. I'm a bad dog owner. So, yeah, that was quite a funny moment. But I think, obviously, that's probably more of a, like, you had to be there kind of situation.
Quite eventful, though, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was... And it was obviously cute because it was Cody and... like, we were training him a little bit and it just went all to pot. So I didn't let him off the lead for a while after that.
Yeah. Right, okay, let's get this one here from Katie. What has been the most enjoyable part of your career so far, of course? And would you like to stay in the football industry when you retire?
Good question. I think for me, I mean, I've always been really competitive with football, so I've always enjoyed winning. But it's not always enjoyable the whole year, if that makes sense. Like, it's really hard work and it's really tough. And there's some days you wake up and most of the days I wake up and I'm in pain. And, you're like, oh God, but I've just always enjoyed that competitive element. But I think now I'm a bit older and a bit more experienced, the enjoyment pieces that I've had, I would say, would be meeting the people that I've met and the friendships that I have and the friendships that I will have for the next, however many years. But that is something that I've always kept with me. And of course, winning trophies, winning big games, winning, things for your country, it's all absolutely amazing. But I think that's a different type of enjoyment. That's a competitive enjoyment for me. Whereas I think as a life enjoyment, it's who I have in my life because of football and the memories that I've made with them, whether that's jumping away from a cannon or, anything like that. I think that's been probably my most enjoyable moment.
Yeah, shout out some of your friends in football, your friends that kind of go beyond football. And I'll only get you to pick a few because you don't want to feel like you've left someone out.
Just going to name everyone that I played football with.
Yeah, wrap it up, Fran, come on.
No, I mean, the first person that I have to speak about is Gemma Davison. I moved in with her when I first joined Chelsea, and we kind of just connected so quickly, both on and off the pitch. I think people who had watched Chelsea back in the day, when we're playing at Staines, they could see kind of we just knew where each other were going to be on the pitch. And I knew that when she got the ball and she was driving, she was going to cross it. And I just knew. And we've just always stayed in touch. We've always communicated. And, I think she's someone who I lean on a lot in terms of football. So I think Gemma Davison is definitely someone who I've, always remained close to. Maren Mjelde, of course. Someone who we've been through a lot together. Whether that's injury, whether that's illness, whether that's, helping one another, make dinner, or, and it's not nice to go through what you went through in terms of obviously her injury, my illness, and seeing someone at probably their most vulnerable, but it was so nice to have each other in their moments. And I think if we had been alone, I don't know how, our recoveries would have gone in terms of basic things, in terms of I was too tired to even walk the dogs. Or, even for her, she couldn't walk the dogs because of her knee. She couldn't, stand up by herself. So, these things that we've gone through together have definitely kind of made us closer. Maria Torres-Dottir.
Hey.
She is an absolute legend. And, same thing, when I was going through a bad time, she was there. When she was going through her injury, her concussion, we were waking up every few hours to go in and knock on the door. Maria, you still okay? When someone's got a concussion. Yeah, I would say Maria as well. And our last one, obviously, would be Bethany England. When we first met, I'm actually going to wait for her to tell the story on the pod because I don't want to ruin it. I want to keep the suspension for that. Yeah, and she's just someone who, I still have a really good relationship with. And, we talk about memories that we built together, how, we've just created this really nice friendship out of, it's probably two people that you wouldn't expect to become friends. And we, have just stayed close ever since. And she actually just lives 10 minutes down the road from me. So it's really nice.
Yeah, we'll definitely be getting her on the podcast sometime soon. All right, one more question. This one is from David, and this is a tough one. Who do you think is going to win the Ballon d'Or on Monday?
Who do I think? Oh, okay, no, I'm not going to say this.
The fact that you've said that, you will absolutely say it. Thank you.
Okay, I think... Right, so... I think the winner should be Mariona Caldente because I think she was the best player in England last year. She was the best player in her club. she, for me, was the best player in the Champions League final. And I think as well, obviously, getting to the final of the Euros, scoring in the final of the Euros, obviously not winning the Euros, but she was a standout player for both teams. And I think as well, being the best player in your league and in your team, you know, you're looking at it going, right, okay, that for me, she should win. However, I know that media and what's the word I want to PR has a big say with awards like this. And of course, you're looking at the likes of, and of course, these players are all fantastic players. They're all the best in the world because, you know, of what they've done last year. But you're looking at it and you go, okay, Putellas has a massive, you know, media following. She also had an incredible year in terms of goals and assists. Obviously not winning a trophy in Euros or Champions League. You know, people look at that as well, even though I don't think they should. I think it should be based on individual talent throughout the year. That's the whole point of the award. And then you have Bonmati as well, who's in that bracket. And then I think as well, Alessia Russo, in terms of her, obviously in terms of her performances last year, in terms of England winning the Euros, in terms of the media, you know, around her, I think she also has a really, really good chance of winning. But for me, I think Caldente deserves it. And I think as well from her leaving Barcelona, who was so dominant, going to Arsenal, winning the Champions League with Arsenal, showing how important she is in terms of that. For me, I think she deserves it. I'm not sure if that's how it's going to play out because of everything else around the award. But for me, she was the best player last year.
Yeah, like you were saying, it's so interesting. It's not always on the player's individual ability, is it? It is to do with the titles and stuff they won, which is why I'm thinking maybe Russo will, you know, genuinely go and do it with the Euros, Champions League, etc. It might not actually be her best season personally, but, you know, look at what she won at the end of it. So, yeah, we shall find out with everyone else next week. And, of course, do a debrief on next week's pod. If you have a question for us or for Fran for next week's show, you can email us hello@addedtimepod.com. And that's it from us. We will see you next week. Bye for now.
See you. Bye-bye.